everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Morgan Chin if you're new here, and yeah, I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. My life has been so crazy these past like 3 months. I finished grad school at Georgia Tech and finished my master's project, which took so much time. I had to write this huge paper, and then I graduated. We were in Maryland, we moved back to Atlanta, we visited family and friends for that time, month, and then moved to California, which is where we are now, looking for apartments, about to start work. It's just crazy. So I'm gonna have another video where I show you guys moving to California for a tech job and trying to find a place to live. But this video is not about that. This video is going to be portfolio reviews, woo! Yes. Super excited about this. What I'm gonna be doing is reviewing like 2 to 3 portfolios in each video. Just kind of depends on how long it goes. Trying to give feedback, some things that I see that are awesome, some things that could be improved, just different things like that. And yeah, so we're going to jump right in. And as you're watching this, if you see some things in the portfolios that you think are awesome, comment down below and let the people know. If you see some things that can be improved, let them know. I do not know everything. I'm gonna caveat by saying this, I am not a recruiter, okay? I don't know everything. So if you know some things you wanna add or you wanna share, please do that and take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm not a recruiter, but I'm just sharing, you know, what I would do, what I would notice. So let's get into that. All right, so our first portfolio is from a designer, Jeffrey. And so what I'm gonna try to do is do just a really quick, like 30-second like flip through. Then I'm gonna do like a slower kind of walk through and give some feedback that way. I got this tip from a really awesome friend. He basically was talking to some recruiters and they just talked about how like they literally just zip through it in 30 seconds. And if it catches their attention, they keep looking and they feel like, okay, this is a good fit. They really sit down and dig in. So I'm gonna try that approach and see. So Jeffrey is a product designer, believes in creating and managing an experience that is beyond just screens. Okay, awesome. Know your name, I know what you are. Not a researcher, not a content writer, you are a product designer, awesome. Okay, so I see first description, patcher, dispatcher platform for web and app. I see a picture. I see Lorable, I think that's what that says, with narrative algorithm application and another picture, and splitting bills with another picture. I live and enjoy being a designer and managing agile teams, but I always remember I'm still learning and there is a world out there to explore. Okay, cool. And then LinkedIn and resume. One thing that I really love about this website is it's super, super clean as soon as you come on it. There's not a whole bunch going on. There's not a bunch of colors. It might be a personal preference, but it's very minimal, very clear as to what's going on this page. It's very clear as to who this is, what he wants to do, and that he has some work to back it up. And then you scroll down and you see that work right there. There's nothing else here. There's not a whole bunch of stuff. It's just, this is me, this is my work. And it's like letting the work speak for him, which I think is really great. I love at the bottom that it gives links to LinkedIn and resume. So it's like after you scroll, if you're interested, reach out to me, and that's awesome. I would imagine if I see someone that I would want to hire, not that I'm hiring anyone, you know, I'm just saying, I would want their contact information. So I think that this is really great. One thing that I kind of wonder is, it's just something to consider as I'm looking at these pictures. It's not entirely clear if the first image and the second image are the pictures of the design, or just like filler images or something you're just kind of using to show, oh, I did something, you won't see it till I click in. Whereas the last example, splitting bills, looks like pictures of the actual application. I kind of wonder if for that first one, you can make that picture a little clearer because it's a little blurry. For Lorable, the second one, I would put a picture of the platform or make it clear that that is the picture of it. And then for the last one, I see some things here, but I don't see a whole lot of the design. So the website looks awesome, but I'm not sure yet if I want to click in to see any of this, because I'm not entirely sure, like, what is it that you did? You know, what am I going to see? And I might go to someone else's and be like, oh, it's clear right here what the platform or the app looks like. This is great, let me click into it. But otherwise, I think this is great. So I'm gonna click on the first project, Patcher, in just a second, but as I dig a little bit deeper into this, I'm gonna read the description. So Patcher, dispatcher platform for web and app, a dispatch platform designed from third-party company to help track their workers when picking and dropping off patients. Okay, so is it designed from third-party company to help track their workers? So that, I'm not entirely sure what you're meaning by this. A dispatch platform designed from third-party company to help their workers. So is the third-party company tracking the workers? Is this platform designed by another company to another company and then it's tracking their workers? Might be clear when I look into that. I love the View project. Very simple, very easy to understand. Lorable, narrative algorithm application. A platform both in web and app for choice-driven fiction and narratives was a wonderful place to explore. I would do a little bit of work on this description because it's a little confusing. It starts off saying it's a platform both in web and app, but then it goes on saying it was a wonderful place to explore. So I guess I'm not sure if this is a complete sentence or I guess the sentence just doesn't make sense to me. So I would change that. The next one is splitting bills. Disclaimer, some images have been reduced on this project. Why is that? Is kind of what I would want to know. Is it because of privacy reasons? Is it just because you couldn't figure out how to make them larger? You know, that's a bit tricky because I would want the images to not be reduced and I want to see the full size. And I don't know if I would have noticed it if you wouldn't have said that. So I'm just kind of wondering, why that is. But it says, a platform both in web and app for choice-driven fiction and narratives was a wonderful place to explore. So this is the same description as the one above it. I'm assuming that goes with Lorable and not splitting bills. And a lot of times we just copy and paste the text box and then just forget to change the text. That's okay. I would just go in and make sure that I do update that. Because if I was reviewing this, I might be a little confused as to which one that is and why that's there. And then at the end it says, I live and enjoy being a designer and managing agile teams, but I always remember I'm still learning and there is a road out to explore. So are you a manager as well as a designer, which is really, really cool? That's kind of what it makes me think. Or are you someone who just enjoys leadership and you want to kind of be in a position where you're leading and helping others, mentoring others, even if you're not the team lead? I'm not really sure, but I'm interested to kind of find out. Okay, so how might better improve the online presence of Lorable? So I would just go ahead and do a once-over check on grammar, on capitalization, and just making sure that stuff is consistent throughout. Those are easy things that you can do. And it's so easy to make grammar mistakes. You're typing, you're moving quick, you're over it, okay? You want to be done with your portfolio, and I totally get that. Make sure you go back through. But I'm gonna do a quick scroll. I see another image, same image. I'm not sure if this is an image of the platform or what this image is, but I'm gonna keep going. I see a role, I see establishing a process, okay. Understanding the context of the problem. Okay, that looks like maybe the platform. All right, I see some how might we's. How do I get the answers needed? Okay, competitive product survey, companies, flow analysis. Laura, I guess that's the flow analysis. Getting my users to talk about the problems, goals for my design, sketching the ideas of sketches. Okay, these mid-fidelity prototypes, final mock-up, cool, and a video, challenges, success metrics, impact, and what I learned. Okay, so I would be interested to explore a little bit more from that 30-second view. I think there's some areas where there's a lot of text. I'm not quite sure yet if I want to read it, but it's not that bad. The first picture, it's not really showing me the actual platform. As I keep scrolling, I realize, oh, this is not what the platform looks like. But we don't want to make recruiters or hiring managers even have to do that. Just go ahead and show them right up front what this product looks like to pique their interest. All right, so now I'm gonna do a little bit of a deeper dive. So I was a product designer and I worked alongside one software developer. The project lasted 6 months and I was assigned to improve the online presence of the Lorable in relation to their website. Some tools I used for this project were InVision, Adobe XD, Figma for user research, information architecture, wireframe, and prototyping. Okay, so I would say take this paragraph and turn this into some bullet points. What we want to do, guys, is make it so that people are reading as little as possible. We know we don't read. People don't read, recruiters don't read it, and if you're looking at hundreds of these, you're not going to read all of this. So the things you can do to make it scannable is awesome. Bullet point, product designer. Bullet point, team equals me plus software developer. Bullet point, duration, 6 months. Bullet point, tools, Adobe XD, Figma, quick stuff like that. I don't need to have to use that mental energy to scan through when you could just make that really, really fast. Okay, establishing a process. Okay, then your problem statement. I love that you're bolding certain things and making it so that if I have to move quick, those are the things that I'm gonna read. So I see I was assigned to improve the online presence of the Lorable in relation to their website. I'm not quite sure what the Lorable is and what the website is and what the differences are. So I'm a little bit lost here because I don't have any context and I don't know enough about this to know really what that means. So establishing a process. I started this process by taking a look at the company's design culture, which included going through their style PDF, which was given to me by the founder. As I reviewed the PDF, simplicity and consistency in the design stood out to me. Before even getting into the problem, I knew simplicity and consistency in the design was key. Plan, model, guess, and check. I then adopted the framework first methodology written by Melody Quintana to solving problems to create an experience. So again, I would really go through with grammar. It's making it harder for this to read, and I think at this point I would kind of just click off and go to someone else's portfolio, because every time I have to stop and think about what you're trying to say, I'm taken out of this world that you're trying to immerse me in and really push me to want to know more. And there's a lot you can do to get rid of some of this text, like the framework first methodology and who it was written by. I think you can just tell us what methodology you used, move on. You don't really have to explain it with words. There might be a visual way that you can do that. We don't need to know who wrote it. That's not important. Then you show us that next you sequence the process in a design roadmap and we see the steps of the things you did. I think this is great because people might be wanting to know, what process did you follow? What steps did you follow? Did you do this? Did you do that? And it's all right here. I would try to make this a little bit bigger because even for me, I'm having to kind of squeeze my eyes together and see what it says. So see if you can make it a little bit bigger. Then it says understanding the context of the problem. I started brainstorming around the task for the project and based on the heuristic written by Jacob Nielsen to get factual problems to which I solved in this case study. I then moved over to the current website to identify some of the problems. Okay, so again, you don't need to tell us who wrote the heuristic rules. We just want to know what is the context of the problem, and you still haven't told us. So I read this whole little paragraph and I still don't know the context, and that's important. I see this website here and I'm assuming that this is the current website. I'm not entirely sure because it doesn't really label it as that. And then on the side, there's boxes that will tell us, some of the issues with consistency, all the uppercase. Okay, so some of the page has a competing background. Okay, so these are valid issues, but it's a bit difficult to decipher. So I would try to make it a bit more clear. Maybe you can point out exactly what these inconsistencies are. You can have an arrow that goes from inconsistency to exactly what it is in that picture and make that picture a bit bigger. Then you came up with some how might we statements to make you think about some why of the web page. What do you mean by that? Why of the web page? What problem are you trying to solve? Because you said you're trying to improve, if I go back up, the online presence of the Lorable in relation to their website, but it's still not really clear what you're trying to do here. So to take a step back, I would say I would first start out with showing, in addition to telling, what this product is and what your final solution was. I would make a lot more bullet points and I would be very clear about what the problem is that you're trying to solve because it's not very clear already. And so it's not encouraging me to want to continue to go on. So I would work on that. And then as I keep going, it's kind of just the same thing. A lot of text, try to find a way to condense that and have the visuals and the things that really matter. Then I kind of wonder, about the how might we questions. If you look, you can kind of see that these did they come before you talked to the user? So you know, it's just not clear. As designers, we're trying to solve user needs. We're trying to solve user problems. And so we don't want to just create our own problems that we're going to go in and we think we need to solve. We need to validate that assumption with our users. And so I personally wouldn't have how might we statements before talking to the users. I think that just digging into the flow, digging into the architecture is okay. But I would talk to the users. I would get insights from them. I would figure out what they need, and then from there, I would design those how might we questions or just anything like that, and really make it clear what exactly is the problem that you're going to solve or the problems that you're going to solve and why. So I think I'm kind of just going to stop here because I think a lot of what I'm going to say is just going to be pretty repetitive at this point. And one thing that I will say in this section, this picture, in my opinion, should be at the top. It's showing the design you did for the website, but we don't see it until we get all the way down the page. So I would say move that higher. And then for the other pictures you have here, make them larger. Maybe instead of putting 3 together, maybe you just do 2 and you make them big so that I can see it, or just 1. Love visuals, can't go wrong with that. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. I was just gonna review 1 page. Overall, I think that it's clean, it looks really nice, but there are some things that can be improved here. So let's go on to our second portfolio. I probably will stop after this one because I don't want the video to be a little too long. And I'm kind of just digging into one of the portfolio pages because usually a lot of them are the same over and over. And I think after one, you can kind of apply that advice to all the rest of them. If you guys notice anything else in the comments that I'm not pointing out, please feel free to say that. If you're interested in the next video to see a different kind of page or the About Me page, just let me know. The only thing I won't do is resumes. If you do want me to do resumes, let me know. That can be a different video, but this one we're just gonna focus on portfolios. So now we're on our next portfolio, woohoo! So we're here with Harita. I hope I said your name correctly. And we're at her portfolio, so let's go ahead and jump in. First thing is gonna be the really quick, like 30-second flip through. I love that it's, hey there, I'm Harita, we know who you are, and it says selected work so that I know that you have more things. The pictures of your work, the little boxes, are really nice. I see quickly the kind of project, the name of the project, description, and really clear photos of what I'm assuming is that project. So I see a lot of different kind of work. I see apps, I see physical products, and as I keep going, I see art and fun. So that's really cool. Like, you do more than just those projects. You have artwork that you do. You have the daily UI challenges. Those are really cool and really fun. And then that's kind of all I see. Something that I would consider doing, Harita, is kind of telling us what kind of position you're looking for. Do you want to be a user experience designer? Do you want to be a researcher? Do you want to be a UX engineer? Do you want to be a content writer, like PM? What do you want to do? It's not really clear. And so I'm gonna have to go through this kind of guessing and assuming. And as I'm looking through this, I'm looking with the lens of like, okay, is this following what I'm imagining a product designer portfolio would look like, or a researcher, so on and so on. I love, love, love the cards that you have here. I think those are great. I mean, honestly, the pictures are very clear. They're kind of different colors, so it's easy to go from one to the other. They're easy to read. I don't see anyone that I can't read. I definitely see a preview of the kind of projects. It's really awesome. I mean, the only thing I could think to improve would be to tell like what you did in that project on the first page, but I don't even know if that's super necessary. That'd be awesome to add, but I'm already interested. Let's do a deeper dig. As I'm up here, I just see, hi, I'm Harita. Again, what position, you know, what is it about you that we should know or we should remember? At the top, I see work, art and fun, and about, so that's awesome. Is your resume and about? Where do I find that? It's not entirely clear right away. And one thing I noticed on my portfolio is like my most clicked page was my resume. So that is really, really important to have very, very clear somewhere on this page. Selected words, moments, an app and sensory bracelet for anxiety. Wacom Design Challenge 2020. Conducted user research, ideated, and designed an app with a sensory bracelet for relief during a panic attack. Oh, okay. So you do say what you did in the project. That's awesome. It's just in that paragraph, so I did not even realize that. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's great because you tell us exactly what this thing is. So it's a sensory bracelet for relief during a panic attack. Very clear, very simple. We all can learn from you, Harita. To keep it simple, you don't need to give too much information, but I want to know what this project is. So I go to the next one, Aurora Arduino-based mood lamp for mindful breathing, personal project. Research designed and 3D printed a prototype for a lamp that acts as visual stimuli for mindful breathing and meditation. That's awesome. So it seems like you're kind of interested in health, maybe. That might be something to put up there at the top. You don't have to, just be interesting. UI UX design intern solution hubs. Is that where you interned, or is that the name of the project you worked on? I would make the company you interned at really clear. That's a huge accomplishment. Internships are so hard to get, and congratulations. So brag on yourself. Tell us the company you worked at, make it clear. And also you can include the project name, but you don't really have to for that. So you wireframe, design, and prototyped a website and app, communicated with developers, conducted keyword research, and implemented SEO strategies. Okay, that's awesome. Congrats. That is a lot of stuff in this, but I think it's fine because it tells me all the things you did quickly. You designed and prototyped a website and an app. You worked with developers. You conducted keyword research. Still not sure if you want to be a designer or researcher, or do you want to be in one of those positions where you do both? I don't see anything wrong with that. Next, you did a home appliance redesign. Personal project. I realized that we use only a few functions in each of our appliances and redesign them to be more accessible. I'm assuming the pictures are of what you'd have redesigned. The only thing I don't understand here is like what the green and pink boxes mean. What do those go to, and why are they kind of calling out certain things? Because inside the box there's nothing. So I'm not sure if that's part of the design or if that was intentional, but I would love to see a picture of the final redesign. I've noticed this one's a little bit different. In the other ones, you tell us what you did or what your role was, and this one you kind of describe the project. So that's something to think about. Next, you have DOSADAS, not sure if that's how you say that, UI UX design specialization capstone. Define target audiences, conceptualize a restaurant, wireframe and design an app. Okay, sounds cool, sounds good. And Say Supra, I hope I'm not messing this up, sorry. Society of Automotive Engineers, India, cool. Super racing competition. Led a team of 25 to design and fabricate a Formula race car, explored ergonomics and seat design. That's really awesome. You led a team of 25 people? That's hard. Leading a team of one, yourself, is difficult. So you led 25 people to design and fabricate a race car. That's amazing. I mean, I don't know. I might kind of put that up here at the top, because not only are you researching, you're designing, but you're a leader as well, and you have experience doing that. That's great. And then Art and Fun, Daily UI, a few of my favorite daily UI design challenges. Cool. Are these things you designed, or are these things you found that you really, really liked? I'm not entirely sure. And then artwork. Pages from my sketchbook and digital artwork. That is just so cool. I love when people put a touch of themselves in their portfolio and they just kind of share some hobby or something they do, and maybe it's not entirely related. Yours happens to be art is related to design, but even when it's not, it's just cool to get to know more about the person. And the reason why I'm clicking into the first one is because a lot of times you assume that the first project is going to be the best one. That is why you put that at the front, and that's the first one that I'm going to look at. All right, so quick flip through. Right away, I see a peek image of what this project is about. Tells me what its name is, what it is, what it was for, the goals. I see a picture of a woman. She looks like she's meditating, so maybe that's kind of what this is about. I see research, okay, 21 questions, 29 responses, 2 decisions. I see a questionnaire. More images and percentages. Looks like a research form. Maybe it's the responses from what she had. I see, it looks like personas, some text. I see some text above some research, ideation, and it looks like a bunch of images, writing. I see a storyboard, design, lots of different ideas, ideations. I see more pictures, redesigning the bracelet. I see the basic user flow, wireframes, color palette, awesome, and final designs. And I see the bracelet. Then I see prototyping. This looks like for the bracelet. I see Arduino. Nice, okay. And that's it. So with a really fast, probably faster than 30 seconds, scroll through, one thing that I can see that I think is really awesome is it's so visual. There are pictures all up and down the page. I can scroll through from the top to the bottom and pretty much see a process from the research phase to the ideation to the testing. You're telling a story in pictures, and that is amazing. And me, when I'm looking at portfolios and I don't have a lot of time, I already know without reading anything that it seems like you have all of the parts that I'm looking for, and now I'm gonna dig in deeper and see more. And not only that, but you have nice, large quality pictures for the most part, really interesting, a variety of different visuals. Great job. Okay, so as I scroll back up, something that I do notice that you could, just a tiny little nitpicky thing, just from quick overview, is there could be some more space in between the sections just to let them breathe. So when I see you transitioning with the colors and it's helping me understand that we're switching context, one thing that I would say is add a little bit more space in between, like for example, this research and the word ideation. Same thing here with the storyboard and the design. I say that because it's kind of hard if you're scrolling really fast to even notice that heading over there on the left-hand side. Now I'm gonna dig in a little deeper. So moments, app and sensory bracelet for relief during and after an anxiety panic attack. Wacom Design Challenge 2020. Wacom? I don't know. Anybody know how to say that? Let me know. So goals. Encourage the user to be prepared for possibly stressful events beforehand. Find a way to provide relief during an attack. Give the user a way to let off steam after an attack, and follow a user-centered design process. One thing about those goals is the first three seem to be centered on the user and what you want the user to be able to do, I'm guessing, with this product. But the last one kind of was focused on you, and it seemed as if it's what you wanted to do as a designer. So there's a little bit of a mismatch there. I don't know if you need the goal of following a user-centered design process, because I think as you go through, you're gonna show us that. I love this picture. If you drew this, that's awesome. I'm assuming you did draw all this because I saw on the first page that you do artwork as well. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice touch, and it seems like you took a lot of time to design this page. Okay, your team was Harita and HSS Shawshank? I'm not sure how to say that. So I see you worked with a team. Who was this other person? Was it a company? Was it a developer? I'm not entirely sure. So I would maybe include that. You also could put what tools you use. I don't know, like what did you use? Sketch? Did you use Figma? What did you use? Like I saw there was some Arduino at the bottom, so maybe include that up at the top. Research. To get to know more about panic attacks in Indians, I drafted a Google form. It asks 21 questions ranging from the frequency of their attacks to what gives them relief after one. You can see the form for yourself here. Oh, that's cool. So if I click on this, then it's going to take me to see your form. I see a picture of it here. 21 questions, 29 responses, and 2 decisions. And then it says 72% experience an attack only when triggered, which can happen anytime, anywhere. 62% never approached a professional for help. 48% told no one about their panic attacks. And then you have, oh, the responses. That's really cool. Okay, I like this. I really do. I think it's cool that you show us the questionnaire, you show us the responses. You can tell that you did a lot of research here and you're presenting it all to us so that we can go as deep as we want to. Knowing what we knew, our design goals were provide relief during an attack without attracting attention. Source of relief should be easily accessible. So question, how are these design goals different from the goals you already stated up here? Or how are they the same? Because I see goals, but I'm not really sure what these are goals for. And since 3 of them were for the user and then 1 of them seemed to be for you, Now I'm a little thrown off now that I see design goals here. Were those not design goals, or I'm not really sure. I would kind of clarify that. So I see your user personas. Awesome. Looks like you drew the pictures pretty cool. What's more important to me than the picture of user personas or the researching is what you learned from it. I noticed that you go straight from your research to your ideation, and I just kind of wonder, what did you gain from the user personas, the research, the surveys? What are your huge takeaways, and how is that going to inform your design moving forward? Because when I get to the end, I want to know how you met the user's needs, but you haven't clearly spelled them out according to the research. So I would put that section here. Okay, going on to ideation. Before we began brainstorming, I looked up existing products, trying to identify the pros and cons in each. The takeaways are awesome, but I have to do a lot of squinting to see what they are, to read your handwriting. When I see artifacts like this, I think they're really cool, but I don't imagine the person who put this in their portfolio actually wants me to read them and get the information from them, because it just seems like a cool image and then I keep going. So if this is something that you want people to read, I might call out somehow, either through like actual text on the computer or some other creative way, what exactly in this I need to read. Okay, next, a few ideas, finally going with the sensory bracelet and app. Cool. So I see ideas of an app, I see the sensory bracelet, and I see pictures of what looks like some ideation, wonderful images. It looks like you put a lot of thought into this and you really worked this out. One question that I have, something to consider, what other ideas did you come up with? Did you just have this app and bracelet and then you just jumped right into that and said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do? Or did you have other ideas? And if you had other ideas, how did you narrow them down to just this sensory bracelet and app? Okay, now I'm looking at it again. I see what's happening. Just got confused a little bit. Okay, so it looks like you have 3 ideas: watch app, ball bearing and lava bead bracelet, and sensory bracelet app. So that's not entirely clear to me. When I was looking at it, I thought they were all the same idea. It was kind of hard to pick that up from the picture. So keep the pictures, love them, but then maybe include a section about, hey, here's my first idea. Here's how this aligns to the user needs that I found in the research phase. Here's how it does not. Here's the second idea, same thing. And then at the end of that, after you do all 3, here's the one I'm picking and why. Because I see you're going with the sensory bracelet and app. That's awesome, but I don't know why, and I can't really check on if this is the best solution for the user's needs, because I'm not entirely sure what you identified them to be. So something to consider. Love this storyboard, okay? I wonder if you have like an ID background, because this is definitely giving me like industrial design feels, and it's really cool. Really helps people understand your ideas. So great job on that storyboard. Then you're going into the design. So this is really cool. And so this is really in depth for the design of this bracelet. I see a lot of ideas, a lot of different things you can do. And it kind of makes me wonder, are you interested in doing industrial design, or are you interested in doing user experience design? And I think also because your first page didn't really tell us and you have a mix of both, I'm not really sure what you're leaning more towards. Right now it kind of seems like you'd be okay doing either one. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would just make that very clear. So I'm seeing these things and I know that. I'm not gonna comment on this part because I do not do industrial design. And I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I have no clue what should be in an industrial design portfolio. If you do and you're watching this, comment down below and give Harita some tips. Okay, the wireframes are a little confusing because it doesn't really show us how it aligns with your app. I'm not sure what your app looks like. I saw brainstorms for the watch, sketches for the watch, but not really for the app, unless I missed that. Let me check, because I might have. Yeah, I don't see that. So it kind of looks like you just put some wireframes here just to say you have them, but I don't know what this is of or what it's supposed to be. There's not really any text or anything, and the pictures are kind of small. So I would really think about doing a little bit more with that section. Going to color palette and typography. I wanted the user to feel at ease and calm. I decided to pick colors and gradients inspired by nature. Chose a gradient with colors from the sunset. For contrasting colors, I was inspired by a photograph on Unsplash of a tree and water. I chose an aqua kind of color and a cinnamon brown for contrast. You have the typeface. How does that typeface look in different sizes? When you're at 24 points font or 12, how does it look? I would kind of play around with that here, but I think this is great. I really like when people include their typography and their colors. That's something I need to get better at because I don't do that in my portfolio currently, and I probably should. This is a great idea, especially for designers, so really, really cool. So now I go in and I see the app. I opted for conversational style buttons to make the user feel that they are actually talking to someone that could help them. Going one question at a time so that the user isn't overwhelmed, I chose number display with a contrasting color and place a radio button so that the user can see what order they chose. The color matches with the background after a while because the user should focus on the flower, not the text. I really like, Harita, that you're telling us why you made the design decisions that you did. That is so important because a lot of times as designers, we get into designing things and we're like, I'm gonna put this here and this here. And then you show it to your team, the engineers, the PM, and they're like, so why is this here? We have to build it this way. Does it have to be here? And then you're needing to give justification for why it's that size, why it's in that place. I would think that this is really great practice and something awesome that we all should do. One question I do have, because I see your final designs here, I am not sure how you got to this final design. I didn't see any sketches, the wireframes were really unclear, and then bam, I see final design. The pictures are kind of small, they're blurry. Even up here, it's kind of blurry. I'm not sure where this came from. And if you're wanting to be a user experience designer, it seems like there was more focus on the watch aspect than the design of the app aspect, which you would need a little bit more on that. Why did you make those decisions? Why did you pick this app design idea over another? How does this meet the needs from the beginning that you got from your research? Did you test this out? And what did users say? That is so, so important because we always want to be iterating on our designs. We're never going to get it right the first time. We want to show it to users as soon as we can and see what they say. So did you do that? Was it for a class and maybe you didn't have time to do that? Put those things in there and what would your next steps be? Overall, Harita, I think you did a great job. I think that you have some awesome, awesome, awesome things here. I think that you did not use too much text. You used a great amount of visuals. I would just say really focus in more on that UX design aspect. What are your user needs? How did you find those needs? Where did you get those needs from? How did you decide to meet those needs? Where did your ideas come from? Why did you pick one over the other? And then as you start to design that one idea, how did you know which direction to go? How did you know what features to include? I have a lot of questions that weren't answered, and as great as this looks, I need the answers to those questions. That's really, really important, and what we spend most of our day doing as designers is talking about those things and just really considering product thinking overall as a whole, and not just, I can design this really cool thing, look at it. That's nice too. Visual design is so important, but really, really want to know the why behind what you did. And it's possible that you know all those things and you just didn't even think to put it in here. Or maybe you have a separate PowerPoint because some people will do that with that in there. But right now I don't know. It's not here. So I just assume, okay, maybe she didn't think about that. Let me just keep going. So that's just something to consider. So guys, I'm gonna stop there for today. It's getting a bit long, and that was just 2 of the portfolios that I'm going to be reviewing. We'll see how many I review on this channel versus just sending the videos to the people. I really hope this was helpful. Even if these weren't your portfolios, you can get a lot of tips from this video and just kind of see things that you might need to tweak in your portfolio. I see some things I need to tweak in mine. Nothing's ever gonna be perfect. And if you see things I didn't even mention that you might want to suggest to them, please, please, please leave a comment down below. I do not know everything. I am not hiring anyone. So just keep that in mind. We can all help each other to get to where we want to be. So I hope you have a wonderful day and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you again soon.